Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next. Basically, I have a week left when I'm filming this, and I have a lot of ambitious plans. It's not going to work out, but maybe if I make this video, I will suddenly be very motivated to read. Also, I don't know if you'll notice, but there's a cat in my lap. I don't think you can see him, but if you hear him, it's not your cat, it's my cat, and he's very upset that I'm not giving him my entire attention at the moment. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, many ambitious plans, a few books that I've hauled, and I'm having a good time reading, but also my choices for hobbies right now is a little different, so my reading is also not as much as normal, even though I do think the quality is pretty good. I don't know, we'll unpack it in this video. So starting with the thing I've been reading each day, and that is New Sons Volume 2. I love this anthology. I mean, not only is the cover still, just gorgeous, I kind of wish it matched the first one, at least in size, or that they reprinted New Sons 1 to match this, because I actually do like this size of paperback. This is not a bad size, and it opens really well, and it's easy to read. We've been reading this all month. It's still fantastic. I'm having a great time. Even the stories that don't land are still really good forms of what they're trying to do. I think Shannon's only DNF'd 1, maybe 2 stories so far, which I've read a lot of short story anthologies with the Shannon. That is unheard of. This is unprecedented hit rate for us, okay? I mean, she didn't like all the stories she finished all the way through per se, but still, even when we don't like it, there's a lot to discuss, and it's phenomenal. I'm thinking of doing this video idea where I go through each story of the collection and recommend a book that it has an aspect of or reminds me of, kind of like an if you like this, you might like that. I did this in the past with, I believe, Exhalation by Ted Chiang. And if you like that idea, let me know. I think it's a fun way of, I don't know, explaining what's in this without just being and this story is about X, and also probably recommending a lot of books I like since I am vibing so strongly with this anthology. So just let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in, and I'll put it together. But regardless, I recommend this. This and the first volume so highly. I read a lot of anthologies. A lot of them have fairly high hit to miss ratio, not a 1-to-1, but maybe a 3-to-1. This is absurdly good. For every 9 stories I read, maybe 1 I don't like. Absurdly good. Okay, so that's the one that I'm reading every day, no matter what. Everything else is in a weird flux. I can't figure out what I'm motivated to just sit down and read. And part of that's just been my headspace. So I'm reading Amina El-Sarafi. So this is the new work by Shannon Chakraborty. We're doing the buddy read for my patrons, and I'm about 35 to 40% of the way through now. It's been my priority read because I just want to get it done because I'm making a spoiler vlog for my patrons. So that sense of do a thing, Angela, is helping me kind of push through. But at the same time, whenever I'm not reading it, I kind of forget it's a thing I'm doing. It's not this urgency of I need to know what's happening next, even though it's an adventure kind of Pirates, Dungeons and Dragons adjacent book. I thought it would be the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and so far I feel I'm kind of right. I mean, not in a bad way. It's very fun. I think the tone of it's really good. I think it's really good at getting in and out of things quickly and not lingering when it shouldn't linger. I like Amina as a character. I like all the characters I've met that are supporting characters so far. I don't really have anything negative to say other than I might not be in the perfect mood for this. I don't know if I'm ever in the perfect mood for an adventure fantasy story. I'm just a weirdo who, that's not what drew me to the genre. I was drawn to the genre by really weird dying worlds, not necessarily the questy adventures. So those stories are not always oh, I need to know what happens next. There are mysteries in this story, though, that I want to unpack. I do like Amina. I think she really holds herself uniquely in this world. I think she has fun insights to situations. She kind of reminds me of some of my favorite video game characters, but after their story, it's she's being pulled out of retirement. That can be kind of fun. I mean, I'm always nervous about it. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I have not read Kings of the Wild, because nothing about that book intrigues me. This one, I have already read works by Shannon Chakraborty, so I do know I like her writing. I like the Davabad trilogy quite a lot. So continuing on, we'll see where it ends, if I'm going to be motivated to continue the series as books come out, but as a book within itself, and I know it ends relatively complete, I'm having a good time. Now, the book I was reading before that, because I was just very in the mood for reasons I cannot tell you about, but I was very in the mood, I picked up The Veiled Throne, and I do actually have a copy now. I'm not going to hold it, though, because it's big and heavy, but I'm reading The Veiled Throne. I'm about 100-some pages in. I'm somewhere in part 2. And it's great to be back, like I said last week. It's wonderful, but it's also, it's not a fast-paced story, per se, and, I've been in a weird headspace, and, I started playing a video game, and like all my free time has been sunk into that video game, and like Ryan wasn't home this weekend, and so all I did was play this video game. So there went hours of reading time that just didn't happen. We'll talk about that briefly at the end of the video, but this is still really cool. I really love that part 1 just like introduces us to a new character and a new setup that I'm sure is going to have payoff soon, and then part 2 has brought us back to our more quote-unquote present day and dealing with the situation, and that the problem solving is really fun. Like, if you like watching people problem solve, it's really interesting. It reminds me of my favorite parts of the Foundation trilogy by Isaac Asimov. Like, there's a reason why I think of this more as a sci-fi series than I do a fantasy. And I do think that's intentional. I mean, Silkpunk Fantasy is meant to be more focused on engineering. And it's just so cool. I really enjoy it. So yeah, it's just a good time. Have I read it in the last couple days? No, because whatever reading time I've had, I've been putting into Amina. Would I rather be reading The Veiled Throne? Maybe, but like, I don't know how to prioritize my life. Ever. So, and then the last thing I should bring up that I have not made progress in at all is the Bone Shard War. And that's because even though I've had listening time, I've listened to things, I am not listening to any audiobooks. None of these things have I've been immersion reading, and then listening to Bone Shard War has not been a priority. Even though I'm pretty sure where I last left off, my characters are in maybe dire situations. Can you tell I am not plot driven, like, at all? Like, I'm pretty sure things are not going well for one of my characters, and I stopped, like, midway through a chapter. Like, I have no clue. But, like, I had a lot of walking time this weekend because I was cat sitting. But when I walk at this time of year, like this, like, late spring, early summer time of year where it's, like, lovely nights, I just love listening to music. And, like, just, I don't know, walking to music is, like, a thing I've done my whole life, and I was really vibing with it. So I didn't want to be like, oh, but I should use this time to be productive and listen to an audiobook, because that's not what I wanted to do. And so I didn't. But here I am again. That was at least 4 hours of audiobook time that didn't happen. So, you know, it's still there. I would love to finish it by the end of the month. Can I? And then, you know, in addition to finishing all these things I've talked about, there are 2 more books I would love to read by the end of the month. Can I do it? I have a week. Probably not, just because I am really, really loving the video game I'm playing. But I'm going to bring it up anyways, because maybe this will be a good accountability system. Maybe this will make me read more than I've been reading. So first, we have this, which I have read the first chapter of. Technically. I just don't feel like that really counts. But I really liked it. It made me feel really cozy, and it's like, oh, man, when my brain's more awake, I really want to sink into this, because it seems very like, oh, we're in political positions we're not ready for, and I missed being with these characters, so, like, I don't know why I haven't read this other than I'm reading these 2 other very large books at the moment, but this is very much next on my list. I think I can finish this by the end of the month if I pick it up in the next couple days. If not, I'll finish it early June for sure. I've held off for too long. I refuse to keep waiting. And then I am fairly certain I'll only start this month, but we'll see. I actually did grab the audiobook if I ever get into an audiobook mood. That's Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This is the sci-fi logo. This is my original copy from like 2010? I think this came out in 2009 or 2010. So yeah, it has a sci-fi logo and everything. It's, you know, glorious. I don't think I'll be able to finish that plus everything else. And I don't plan on finishing The Veiled Throne. I would love to get through half of it. That'd be phenomenal. But who knows? Because what I have been doing is playing Horizon Forbidden West. And it's fan-frickin-tastic. It's all I want to do. And I'm enjoying the plot and the world building. Like, I didn't even think I could be intrigued after, you know, you have a lot of the reveals in Zero Dawn. And I'm like, oh, this is still actually very engaging. And I think the character work's really fun. The animation style is way more engaging for me. So, like, when we do have the cutscenes, I'm way more engaged than I was with Zero Dawn. So I'm having such a fun time. And I'm actually okay at video games now. So I can actually, like, do things without fear. I have way less fear. Although the other day, there was like a plot thing that happened that I was very stressed out about. And after I finished the plot thread, I was like, okay, I need to put you down for a little bit because that was a lot on my heart rate. But for the most part, I'm just like being able to do things and be successful and have plans and enjoy like completing tasks. It's very fun. So that's a lot of my time. Like I spent the majority of Saturday, it was a rainy day. I think I spent 5 or 6 hours playing that game. It was great. The best feeling. I had free time and I knew what I wanted to do with it. That's kind of some of my biggest struggles as someone who like likes a little too much structure in my life is like when I have free time, figuring out how to fill it. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else out there, but it's like a thing I've been struggling with a non-zero portion of my life. But that's where my life is right now. I did buy a couple books. Like, I already showed you The Veiled Throne. Oh, one second. I have to move this cat because he wants out, but I'll show him to you real quick. Hey, Pootown. You gonna say hi to anyone? You gonna look at the camera? You gonna refuse to look at the camera? Okay, I'm gonna put you down now. But he's just been down here, like I said. I did buy 2 books, though, because, as you saw, I have The Veiled Throne. And that's because I've been going back and forth about buying the Dandelion Dynasty. Because, if you know, Saka Press has printed these awfully. Like, absolutely awfully. Speaking Bones hardcover does not match the first 3 books. It's so bad. And then the paperbacks, the first 2 books had insets, and then the other 2 didn't. And I was just like, oh, why do you do this to me? So, the other day, I'm just at my local Brookline Booksmith, and I see a copy of The Grace of Kings with no inset. And I'm so pleased. And these books, if you don't know, the US copies are like the floppiest things, which is also great because these are pretty chunky. So if you're going to have a normal sized paperback, they better have a nice floppy spine. And it does. So I got this in The Veiled Throne. I think they're reprinting The Wall of Storms too, because when I first went to go buy The Wall of Storms for them, they didn't have it, so I think they were reprinting it, and now it's in stock. So I'm going to go get that soon, as soon as I can. And then Speaking Bones is out in paperback now, and then I'll have a matching set, and it will bring me much joy. Much, much joy. And then the other book I treated myself to, because I went to the bookstore last week, because I dropped off all of the books I showed you guys in my unhaul. Like, I think I only have a handful left, because I couldn't carry all of them, but between going to the bookstore, and then I had a bunch of friends over, and I'm like, I'm getting rid of these books. Have at. And they took like 10 of the books. And so I have a few left, but I got some store credit, so I bought 2 books. I got The Grace of Kings, and then I bought Our Share of Night. Because Ryan and I for sure want to read this together, and then I'm thinking about reading it with my patrons in the fall. And Ryan will only read books we physically own. So we now physically own it, so he will read it with me. Because it feels like our type of horror. We both have been like discovering horror at the same time-ish. And so I think we're both going to really enjoy this. It's going to take us forever because it's really long, and Ryan doesn't like put that much time into reading each day. Like, I think he's a faster reader than me, but he only reads at night and only right before bed, which like is what I used to do, which is probably why I used to only read like 10 books a year, because my reading speed is very slow, if you didn't know. But I'm so excited for this. I love the cover. It's such a nice book. So that's where everything is. I should probably end this video and go read some books, as you can see, because there are too many. There are too many for me to handle. But I'm excited about all of them. Like, I don't feel like any of these are bad. Like, I think the one that I would maybe be most tempted to DNF because of my mood and because there's other shiny things would be Amina, but I want to finish that for the buddy read. And it's not like that one's bad. It's definitely giving me 4-star energy. It's just like, when I'm not reading it, it's not like calling to me, which is unfortunate, but like that happens with some of my favorite books of all time too. Like, I love the books that make me want to read, but those are few and far in between, unfortunately. All right, so if you want to leave an emoji, just let me know you're here. Leave a cat emoji, because, you know, we have our visitor here, and let me know what you're reading, doing, watching this weekend. If you have the long weekend, I hope you enjoy it. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.